Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, starting off Fan Fridays with a battle from Joey. And this one looks really interesting because we have these Singles Parasect. I'm used to Doubles Parasect doing some really cool things because it has like wide guard and it can spore down Pokemon. And it has some nice tech to it, but the Singles Parasect, how is that even possible to find a chance to maybe potentially kind of work? Well, Parasect is on the field, and let's find out. Like, if Parasect was any more toxic, it would be fairly useful, but now we just get to go and see Parasect leading off with that Spore, so that is going to make Nidoking very sleepy as he goes for that setup and then withdraws the Nidoking. Alright, I can see how Parasect could win if the opponent doesn't know how to deal with the Parasect. Oh, wait, what? I didn't know Parasect got agility. That changes everything. Because then it turns into a Smeargle, because Smeargle can like spore agility into shenanigans. Now, how is Parasect going to follow this one up? Because, alright, it's got the Seed Bomb, which is actually going to be decent damage to the Volcanion. Volcanion's going to wake up, go for that Steam Eruption, but Parasect has dry skin. So it's not going to affect Parasect because of really interesting things that people don't know. Landorus's Intimidate, though, is going to really hurt that Parasect on its gains, and that is going to be Spore onto Landorus. So two of the opponent's Pokemon are asleep. It can outspeed Volcanion and put that Pokemon to sleep as well, and the Seed Bomb onto Landorus, yeah, not a lot of damage. So Parasect has parts of the setup. Will Red card out the Parasect? I didn't know we got agility. And then Celio is dragged out. So Celio dragged out, going to go through those Toxic Spikes, and then it'll be able to deal with the Landorus pretty well. We do have, yeah, like Celio could maybe go through this team in a really hilarious way. Landorus is going to wake up and go for the Swords Dance. No respect for the Celio, and Celio's going to stockpile. So Eviolite stockpile will be a good amount of Takedis, but now it's going to get weird. Celio being poisoned is pretty difficult to deal with as a tankier Pokemon. So Landorus is going to turn around with that Hammer Arm. That is going to be a super effective hit. Celio survives, and Landorus loses speed as Celio goes for the Brine. Brine not going to be enough to knock out the Landorus, and this is why I'm not a fan of Brine. Like, I know it does more damage when your opponent's below half, but by that point, you know, two Scalds can do probably the same amount of damage or more, like once you start bringing down the math and the numbers and stuff. And then if you get a burn on the Scald, it's a lot better. Like Brine, I understand people are trying to lock it for niche play, but it's just not a good move under any circumstance. And Scrafty goes down to the Hammer Arm, but now we're in a really interesting position because Parasect is back in, doesn't have the agility, but after those Hammer Arms should be able to outspeed. And also, it doesn't have to worry about the Intimidate anymore, so it's back at full attack. That is the Spore onto Landorus. Gets that outspeed right there. Landorus is asleep, and it will stay asleep. Now, I don't know, I guess not expecting the Parasect to still outspeed, even though it doubled its speed and then was faster anyways. So using that turn for Spore for the agility. Agility is pretty free right there, and Landorus will get that first turn wake up into the Swords Dance. But I guess he realized like he doesn't really have too many damage options against the Parasect at the time. But now Parasect still gonna be able to outspeed into that Seed Bomb. The opponent got pretty lucky this battle too. A lot of just early wake ups for like the Volcanion and the Landorus. But Parasect, he's poisoned now, but he can still bring this one back depending on what we got. We see the Nidoking. All right, Parasect, how do you deal with the Nidoking? Seed Bomb, because I only saw the Seed Bomb, so. Nice hit right there, though, from the Parasect on Nidoking. That's about half its health. Nidoking will go down to the next Seed Bomb, and they just outspeed the Volcanion. That's going to be a Spore. Wow. Wow. The Seed Bomb, the agility. Like, I didn't know. I should have looked at Parasect because it's one of the very few Spore Pokemon. So when you think about that, it's like, wait, is that like it can't be too strong, like Breloom or any Pokemon like Amoonguss or something, because if it's that strong, then things start to get really bad really fast. I'm trying to figure out, oh wow, okay, yeah, agility is an egg move. Mini Pokemon can give agility to Parasect as an egg move. And now we're still dealing with Volcanion right here, so that's Spore, and then it gets 2-shot, and then Parasect wins. GG. That's really all there's to say about it right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and set up a screen region, because yeah, like, I'm really trying to figure out the Parasect right now. So I'll just get that preemptively set up. That is a Seed Bomb. Oh, Volcanion taking the big hit off that Seed Bomb, going down in the end, and that, guys, is what a Parasect sweep looks like. Okay, so now we gotta think about this one a bit more, because Wide Guard, that was really cool for doubles, and you get all kinds of fun stuff after that. But what else does it have? Like, you could have the knockoff Seed Bomb. That could work. Gets Endure, counter, cross poison for the fairy type Pokemon, I guess. And then just X's, or if you want to go into the double stab. Has Home Claws. I thought it didn't have, like, Swords Dance. Oh, no, it does get oh. Yo, Parasect gets Swords Dance. How much setup do you want to go? Because if you go Spore, Agility, Swords Dance, Seed Bomb, or maybe just X-Scissor, because Seed Bomb can get immune pretty hard by a couple of things, or if there's like a grass poison typing, you're going to get heavy resisted. But yeah, apparently that's what you can do. And then we just look at the other stats. So I was looking at the speed. I know Parasect has a really poor speed. So 174 speed at level 100, that means it's going to take a lot of investment right there. Yeah, it looks like you just completely uninvest the Parasect and you just go like Jolly Nature or Adamant, max out speed. I'm guessing Jolly, because even after that agility, quite a few things will be able to outspeed you. But yeah, you just Jolly outspeed the Parasect, and then you're good to go. Attack is only 95, but I didn't know it gets Swords Dance. Like, I was expecting that Parasect, like, gets a Swords Dance in there, it could actually do a lot more damage and sweep a little better. The opponent did get lucky with a lot of really crazy wake-ups. We do have another battle to check out, and here it is. This time not leading off the Parasect, but Mega Bayonet. Still quite the tricky Pokemon. Also, I was just looking at the code. There we go. Let's get into this battle right now. So, Bayonet's going to Mega, going to do some crazy things. The opponent is the Haxor Man, starting off with that Magneton. I mean, Magneton can be pretty frustrating as an Eviolite tank. Bayonet will switch out, and we will go into the Scrafty, bringing that fighting to deal with the Steel right there, as Magneton gets that Toxic in there. So, alright, finding an interesting kind of stall right here on this Magneton. Oh boy, this is going to get really interesting really quick. Going to withdraw into a different Pokemon. The first Pokemon I was bringing is Beedrill. Alright, is he going to try to set up the Beedrill with this? Wow, though. Like, we didn't see anything get knocked off, so it is Mega Beedrill. But at the same time, Beedrill is that frail that it doesn't lose an item from knockoff, and it still takes that much damage. And Scrafty doesn't even, like, hit that hard. It's a tanky Pokemon, not an offensive Pokemon, but it has X-Scissor. So that was the opponent's play. Mega Evolve into X-Scissor on the Beedrill. Not going to find enough damage, and the Zen Headbutt takes out the Beedrill. Yeah, the opponent did not get anything out of that. And Scrafty will cure itself of the poisoning with that shed skin, so can't even get the status to stick. And Blayon, though, comes in, goes for the Surf. Scrafty will be finished off by that Surf. And now it's a 2v2. Parasect, it's your time to shine. So Parasect going to come in, get that Spore. Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about, like, Jolly speed investing a Parasect, is that you actually outspeed uninvested tanky Pokemon now. So Empoleon, probably supposed to be tanky, maybe just bulk offense or something like that, which means that you can Spore then agility. Oh, I imagine that those are like the sweet spots. It's like, yo, I think my Parasect outspeeds this guy. I think that means I win. So that is going to be Seed Bomb onto Empoleon. A little bit of damage right there. I feel like the Swords Dance is honestly the best option for the Parasect, because if you're 2-hit KOing anything, if they wake up, you're kind of screwed no matter what happens. So yeah. And Parasect eats that super effective Ice Beam, but we find out Parasect is on that Focus Sash. So that's all you need. You Focus Sash, Agility, Spore, whatever ends up happening, you just come out on top. And then there needs to be a way of, like, just hoping that Seed Bomb can one-shot everything after you get that Swords Dance, Ooh. Oh, there it is. There's the Fell Stinger. Okay. I was waiting for it. Now that's where the snowball comes in. Okay. Parasect's attack is going to go up sharply, but unfortunately, it's into the Magneton. And Parasect will get that spore on the Magneton, but there's not much you can do. Like, once that Magneton wakes up, it does toxic or does damage, and then you die. And you can try to get as many seed bombs in that are going to be, like, mad resisted, but yeah, even after +2, doing about a fifth of Magneton's health. But that just makes it to where it's going to be easier for the Bayonet. Alright, so I was wondering, like, yeah, the Fell Stinger, technically coverage, and also, if you are getting in those really good damage ranges off of those seed bombs, you could Fell Stinger to finish. But is it worth it? Like, mono grass coverage with the reliable Swords Dance, or that into the Fell Stinger. Magneton's gonna wake up, goes for the rest. Oh man, the opponent going for that troll right there, stalling out the game. And healing back up to full. Is it Chesto? No, it wouldn't be Chesto. It has to be Eviolite. But now Bayonet comes in. Bayonet seizes the opportunity against the rested, asleep Magneton. What's he going to do then? What is he going to do? Now I'm interested. So Bayonet, of course, that's Mega Evolution. Bayonet can do all kinds of really weird things with that Prankster. Now the Prankster doesn't really matter too much in this because Magneton's gonna be slower anyways. But Bayonet has the curse. Oh, that's how you do it. You get your opponent it's the last Pokemon, so he can't switch out. And now he's just going to be taking a quarter of his health for the rest of the time, which means by the time he wakes up, he'll be forced into a rest. To wake up, to be forced into rest. Parasect gets a little bit of damage, and then that will be the GG. Also, Bayonet has Pain Split. So, that leads to a little bit of an interesting trade right there. Magneton wakes up, gets Thunder down onto the Bayonet. So Bayonet will not survive. Wow, really? Bayonet's either that frail or the Thunder from Magneton can be that strong. But that's curse damage coming through. Oh, man. So now Parasect is in, but Parasect is only at 1 hit points. And it will be faster than the Magneton. So Magneton's going to go to sleep off of that spore. The opponent might have thought he had it right there, but that is just Parasect when you invest speed into it. It effectively gets a lot more speed because, like, it just scales so crazily right there. And Magneton's asleep, afflicted by curse, and the forfeit. Okay, that is really all I can say. So I want to go on Pokemon Showdown and check out some things about, like, the Parasect speed statting, depending on, like, the EV investment and whatnot. It was still really interesting to watch all of that happen. So yeah, let's do. We found the math, we found the stats. Parasect. Don't even ask me why I typed in that word. I have no idea. Okay, so Parasect. See, when you have 30 base speed, you are at 96 speed. So any amount of investment is going to effectively double it. And then you go on to a Jolly Nature. That's going to be really nice. So 174 speed, that getting doubling. Ooh, now we can go and, like, bring up all the fun things, like a Cerebi speed chart. And here's what it's going to be at for level 50. For comparison, since the speed tiers and everything get a bit more skewed when you're, like, doubling or effectively boosting your speed at level 50. But I mean, still pretty respectable. Then the attack could be better. Like, what if Parasect in the 6th generation gets a buff, you know? Plus 10 on its attack. That means this strategy only gets stronger and really crazy because of that. So I'm gonna go and check out speed stats on Cerebi. At level 100, what will we outspeed? We'll outspeed up to 109 base speed. So effectively a 110 base speed will start outspeeding us if it's fully invested at that point. But we beat out everything under that. I would say that's pretty good. It's not like Parasect becomes this unstoppable god sweeper of insanity. But against a lot of different Pokemon, it can still find success. And that means, like, the base 100 Pokemon. So it works. That's really all I have to say is that it works. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.